Hi guys, and welcome to my next video on the AdMats Monopoly Madness. Now today's question will be dedicated to, let me find it here. It's one after the first community chess. It's Baltic, I think it's Baltic Avenue. One of my favorite places to buy on the Monopoly board because it's so cheap. Okay? So guys, the next question here is going to fall under series, a AP or a GP, arithmetic progression or geometric progression. Let me give you the gist of the question here. You have a pendulum and it's swinging back and forth. Obviously, if it's swinging, let's pay attention to the black one here. If it's swinging back and forth, and as time goes along, the swinging will get smaller and smaller and smaller. So it will start off as a big angle, then the angles will get gradually smaller. So I have 60 followed by 48 followed by 38.4. They want to know how much swings it would deter. They want to know what is the total angle that the pendulum will move over time. Like if they add up, they want to know the total angle as time goes along, the sum of all the angles. So like 60, 48, 38.4, and as it gets smaller and smaller, you're adding up all the angles. And they want to know the total figure at the end of the day. So what is this? Is it a AP or is it a GP? Well, let's put down the information they gave us. The first term seems to be 60 degrees. The second term appears to be 48 degrees. And after the 48, the angle T3 is reduced to 38.4 degrees. And of course, this goes on and on. They just didn't bother to give you T4, T5, T6, T7, right? So AP or GP? Well, I think it's a GP. Why? In a GP, right, if you take if you take the term in front or the term just after and divide it by the term before, you're always supposed to get the same answer. Let's test run that. Let's take T2 and divide it by the term that just came before. T2 is 48 degrees. And T1 is 60. If I divide this, I believe I'll get 0.8 on my calculator. But let's just make sure. T3 is, we're going to take T3 and divide it by the one just before, which is T2. So it's 38.4 degrees divided by 48 degrees. If you divide this, you will still get 0.8. And of course, if the examiner gave us T4, which they didn't, and you divided it by T3, you're going to realize you're getting the same number over and over. You call this common number the common ratio, right? And the first term, you just call it what? A. So to do this question, they're really asking a sum to infinity. Because technically, if this keeps happening, it will go on and on and on and on and on. And in a perfect environment, the angle will just keep getting smaller and smaller and smaller and technically never stop. So it's really a sum to infinity. So in geometric progressions, there is a formula for the sum to infinity. It's A divided by 1 minus R. Guess what R is? R is your common ratio. And for you to use this formula, the common ratio always has to be less than, the modulus of it has to be less than 1. Let me explain what the modulus is, right? The modulus has to be less than 1. A modulus basically means you strip away the minus sign. So if something comes with a minus sign, you strip away the minus sign. If it comes with a positive sign, you leave the positive sign. In other words, no minus signs are allowed inside here. So I just say, if I want to come back to this, but a lot of students get confused by this. Let's say I have a common ratio of minus 0.2, and I want to make sure it's fit for this formula. Well, I have to throw this number inside here, but when I put any number inside here, no minus signs are allowed in between here. So you take off the minus sign and you end up with this. And ask yourself, is this number less than 1? Yes, 0.2 is less than 1. So yes, I can use this value inside here. But the value we have today is 0.8. So the 0.8 doesn't have a minus sign, but that's good news. We can just put them inside here. So ask yourself now, is 0.8 less than 1? Yes. So that means we can use the formula. So how much is A? A is 60 degrees, that's the first angle, or T1, and R is 0.8. Let's work this out, guys. 60 divided by 1, I think I can do piece of this in my head. 1 minus 0.8 is 0.2. So, let's get my calculator there. Put it right there. 60 divided by 0.2. 60 divided by 0.2 is 300 degrees. And that's our final answer. So the total amount of degrees this will go through from beginning to end will be 300 degrees. And in these types of questions, the examiner doesn't really tell you it's an AP or GP. Believe me, you will have to figure it out, right? So I showed you how to figure out it's a GP. If you're interested in APs, well, you all know what to do by now. AP is the other one to this. This is geometric progression. You just need to go to I Love Lessons, space arithmetic progression, and it will show you everything you need to know in arithmetic progression from beginning to end, guys. And also, guys, if you're from Trinidad and Tobago and you need lessons in maths, physics, maths, chemistry, integrated science, give me a call. My number can be found in the description below. And well, that's pretty much it for Baltic Avenue. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. Have a good one.